Welcome to Ask Carnell. Today's topic is going to be about upside down car deals. And I want to talk about the biggest lie that's told in a car dealership when you actually go back to try to trade your car in. But first, I'm going to start with an upside down car deal. An upside down car deal is when you owe more on a car than what the car is actually worth. Okay, you owe more on a car than what it's actually worth. And let me tell you where it gets started at. It always start out like this. A person go in to purchase a car, and the car that they actually want, they can't purchase that car at that particular time. Whether the car is too much, whether the note is too high for their budget, they can't afford to purchase that car. So what the salesman does is he tells the buyer that, hey, I can get you in this car. I can get you in this car, make your notes for 6 months, come back, you could trade the car in, and we'll put you in the car that you want. Okay? And they mean that. They actually intend for you to bring the car back, trade it in 6 months to put you in another car. But here's what they don't tell you. What they don't tell you is when you come back with that car to trade it in, the same car that they sold you. Let's just say, for instance, you paid $20,000 for the car. The car that you paid $20,000 for, you go home, follow protocol, whatever their protocol is, right? Make those notes for 6 months straight. You don't miss one payment. When you go back, you owe, let's just say you owe $19,000 on the car. You say, hey, I want to trade this car in and get the car that you told me that I can come back in 6 months and purchase. Well, now they tell you, oh, well, we can only give you $13,000 for the car. Now, you only had the car for 6 months. You've made your payments on time. You hadn't been aggressive with mileage. The car is in perfect condition. But here we are 6 months down the road. And a car that I now owe $19,000 for, you're telling me you're only going to give me $13,000 for the car. Now, this is the same salesman that sold you the car. That's the nonsense that go on in car dealerships. And that's the nonsense that I want you guys to be aware of. In most cases, when you purchase a car, if it comes out of the salesman's mouth, pay for this car for 6 months, make your payments on time, come back, trade the car in, and we'll get you in the car you want. Okay? So let me tell you the options they're going to give you when you come back, with them only offering you $13,000 on a car that you now owe $19,000 on. One or two things are going to happen. They're going to ask you to put the remaining amount of money down, which is 13. They're going to ask you to put the money down up front in cash, or they can take the amount of money that you owe, the negative amount, and put that onto the new car. So if the new car that you want to purchase is $30,000, now they're going to take and put another additional $6,000 on top of that car. Does that make sense? It's a game. The negative equity that you have in that car, the car that they just sold you 6 months ago, they just literally sold you the car. You hadn't put many miles on the car. The only thing you've done is went back and forth to work every day. Okay? They're going to take the $13,000, offer you $13,000, the negative amount that you owe. They're going to say, hey, either you can give us that money down, or we'll take the negative equity and put it on top of the new car. Well, here's the problem with them taking, and most people don't have the money up front. Okay? So they're going to take the $6,000 and put it on top of the new car. So guess what that means for the new car? Now you upside down in a new car. It's a repetitive cycle. It's a constant cycle. And they do this to millions and millions of people on a daily basis. Okay? The point that I'm trying to make to you is you be very careful and cautious when you hear that phrase, bring the car back and we could trade it in for another one. They mean well about you trading the car in. But what they're not telling you is they're not going to give you that kind of money for the car. Now, the only way that you can possibly, even close to get what you want for that car, or get what it's actually worth, is if you don't drive the car at all. Then you got a fighting chance to say, hey, there's no miles on the car. Then you got a small fighting chance. But that never happens. Nobody purchases a car and let it sit in a garage unless it's a collector's item. But most of the cases, a person that's having credit problems, looking to purchase a car, they need a car because they have a family and they need a way to get to point A to point B. So they're going to drive the car. So the whole reason I'm making this video is for you guys that are in the market to purchase a car to be aware of some of the verbiage that they use, or some of the cliches that they use to try to swore you in to buy a car. Now, they know you can't afford to buy that expensive car. Here's the other reason they try to put you into the other car. They know you can't afford that other car. So to keep you from not purchasing nothing at all and them not getting a sale, then what they do is say, hey, I can get you in this car. Well, you don't like that car. You don't want that car. They're going to say, well, hey, just keep it for 6 months. Remember that. Just keep it for 6 months. Bring it back. We'll trade it in. We'll get you another car. And that's not the case. When you bring that car back, if you paid them $20,000 for it, when you bring it back in 6 months, as you say at the time, your balance is now down to $19,000. They're going to offer you $13,000 for the car. That's $6,000 in between the amount they're willing to give you versus the amount you owe. They're going to give you two options. The first option is going to be put the $6,000 down. Your second option is going to be we could take this $6,000, which is negative equity, and we could put it onto the new car you're trying to purchase. So the new car you're trying to purchase, $30,000. Now you just got $30,000. You got an additional $6,000 put on top of that $30,000. Now you owe $36,000 plus your tax, title, and licensing. So now you playing right at about $40,000 for a car, right? So then later as time go on, you decide to trade that car in. When you come back, you upside down in that car. You know why? Because you not only paid what they wanted for that car, the negative equity that you had from your old car went onto that car, along with all the other things that you got added to that car. Okay? You guys have to be very mindful and careful, and be careful with your finances. Be very careful. Car salesman is not your friend. Here's the other thing I want to put out there, and I want to hammer home on this phrase that I'm about to give you. Car salesmen are not your friend. I don't care if it's your cousin, your uncle. They in the business to make money. Okay? Car salesmen are not your friend. When you try to purchase a car, allow them to sell you a car. And what I mean by allow them to sell you a car, let them persuade you to buy a car. Then they become a little bit more vulnerable. Okay? But if you go in adamant about buying a car, then they're going to do everything they can to get you as far upside down in that car as possible. Because again, it's not going to affect them with you being upside down in a car. It's not going to affect them at all. It's going to affect you. So when you get ready to purchase your car, always tell them you're not sure what car you want. Look at many of the cars, okay? But always get to an end where they're trying to persuade you. They begging you to buy a car. And when you get them to the point they're begging you to buy a car, then you start negotiating. You talk about interest rate, like I told you guys the other day. You talk about interest rate, and you talk about the amount of the car. You don't talk about the car note, okay? Now, you will be upside down a little bit in a car. That's just the nature of the beast. The goal that I'm trying to obtain and get you guys to understand is to keep you from being so far upside down in a car to where it just does not make sense, okay? And you can do that through your negotiating, through you talking up for yourself, having the ability to walk out the car dealership and say no. It's okay to do that, okay? Again, cars are a depreciating asset, so it's going to happen. No matter what car you buy, the moment it go off the lot, it ain't worth anything at that point. It drops $5,000 to $10,000 in value. And just to show you how dirty and how ugly the car business is, you can buy a car. True story. Buy the car, drive across the street to a fast food restaurant, literally across the street. Drive that car back to the dealership and put maybe a couple of miles on it and see if they'll give you the same amount of money that you just paid for it. Okay? So that's why it's imperative that you pay attention and listen to the notes and the knowledge that I'm giving you guys so that way you don't get screwed entirely. Okay? Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate the support. If you have any questions or you'd like to book me for a session, you can reach out to me via email at askcarnell@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a DM. Thank you.